Hello everybody, welcome to the County Seat. We have a full agenda today, so we'll get right to it. Our topic today is the Rural Online Initiative, and let's start by answering the question of what the heck is it?
For a number of us, remote work has become a new fact of life. And while the concept isn't new, the recent pandemic has increased the adoption of working from home. And while that idea of working from home may elicit some feelings of, wahoo, this is going to be fun, some of us remember that our families are also at home and wonder, how on earth is this going to be productive? Now, whatever your gut reaction to the idea of working from home, there are benefits that extend beyond convenience. And yes, it can be productive. In fact, before the COVID-19 pandemic, the idea of remote work presented an opportunity for people living in rural areas of the state.
Garfield County houses some of the most remote communities in Utah, including Panguitch, Bryce Valley, and Escalante. These are some exceptional communities which offer amazing scenery, a great school system, and people want to live there, but there's not a lot of opportunities for jobs. The Rural Online Initiative has given these people an opportunity to get a certification so they're more qualified to get remote working positions, and they get to live in these outstanding communities.
We definitely live where we want to live. We've been living in central Utah for the last 10 years, and we just moved to St. George. And we're able to do that because both of us work from home. We're closer to family now. You know, being closer to family is really important to us, and remote working made that possible.
The idea for the ROI stuck, and with the help of the Utah legislature, the Rural Online Initiative was made available through Utah State University. The online program teaches people how to work remotely and how to find or create virtual jobs.
Our goal is to help people that love rural Utah stay where they live, stay where they want to be, and stay with their families. So we are trying to give them opportunities to learn and to find out about remote work and other opportunities out there in the gig economy.
I took the course, but what I didn't know is that I'd be working remotely like soon after. So it was an amazing experience for me because I learned so much about how to work remotely, how to communicate online, how to present myself online, how to have a good workspace, how to do all these things that really helped me when I had a remote job.
All you need to get started is a good connection to the internet, which has been another important piece of the puzzle as many rural parts of the state are seeing internet speeds that rival and in some areas surpass what is available on the Wasatch Front. The course takes about 6 to 8 hours per week for 4 weeks to complete and receive a certificate as a Master Remote Work Professional. There are 9 modules in the course with 4 interactive workshops where you will participate live with the rest of the cohort. I'm just about to log on to my first class, so I'll let you know how it goes. For the County Seat, I'm Derek Dowsett.
Good luck with that, Derek. By the way, is there something I should know? We'll continue our conversation on the ROI program when we come back on the County Seat. Welcome back to the County Seat. We are talking about a return on investment that is happening across the state of Utah through the Rural Online Initiative. Same initials, great results. Joining us for a conversation are people key to the process. Commissioner Darren Bushman of Piute County, who was around in the very concepting part or conceptualization stage of the online initiative and promoted the idea before the legislature and to his fellow counties. And we also are joined by Paul Hill, who is an extension professor for USU residing in Washington County. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today.
Good to be here.
Thank you.
So either one of you can answer, and just feel free to talk to each other as we go through this conversation if you have something you want to add. But I would like to start by just taking a scorecard of Rural Online. We've been actually flushing it out and getting it into the system now for what, a year and a half, Darren? Is that about right?
Yeah, I think that's about right, Paul.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's the system has it took them a little while to get their feet under them with Utah State leading the effort, but they got their curriculum put together and rolled out, got their people hired, and you know, they've been off and running for quite a while right now, and proof of concept is what we were trying to get with the original bill, and they actually exceeded expectations, and they proved the concept early, and with that became a permanent program. They got permanent funding in this last legislative session.
And that's permanent, tied to some ongoing source of revenue, so you don't have to come back and ask for it each session?
Correct.
Yeah. So, Paul, how has this played out from an educational standpoint? I mean, obviously you've been engaged in the process of getting people certified and online. Is that a link of communication that lasts after you're done with the certification program?
Yeah, so we have an exit survey at the end. There's an assessment in the beginning of the course. So in order to accept anyone into the course, they need to have a reliable internet connection, their own computer, and experience with knowledge work or a strong desire to work as a remote worker. And from there, after completing the class, we do 3-month and 6-month follow-ups to collect data on whether they've been placed in a job, if they're still looking, and then any further assistance they need. We're currently developing a remote work job search course to help them further improve their abilities to find remote work. It's one thing to be ready for remote work and to develop the skills needed to be a functional remote worker, but to find those jobs, it's a lot different than just looking for any normal job. But we've seen knowledge gains, changes in aspirations and attitudes towards remote work, and then we've seen their skills greatly improve.
When you have that process going on and you're doing the follow-up, what are the stats? How's it working on the ground? We saw some anecdotal success stories in the story that Derek introduced to us just a few minutes ago, but what's your gut reaction as to how broadly this is succeeding?
I'm happy to report there's been over 100 remote job placements through the program. And while that sounds like not a very large number, that's just based off our pilot program. And the economic equivalency of those 100 jobs in rural is over 3,000 jobs on the Wasatch Front. And so when you look at what rural needs and the job opportunities available, as well as the paychecks, the wages in these communities, this is a huge opportunity for some of these great, wonderful areas that we want to live in that also have really good internet. And so with a little bit of skilling up, we're able to place people across rural Utah into remote jobs that are with companies in Utah as well as companies outside of Utah.
You know, I find that kind of interesting because if you sit here on the Wasatch Front, you live your life every day, you think you have the biggest and best of everything. And had I not been involved with this program and on the ground in the field watching fiber optic go into the Uinta Basin and up through Kane County and Garfield County and seeing some of this gigabit speed connections develop firsthand, I wouldn't have thought that it would have been out there. I guess the question for either one of you is, how important is that spread of that kind of speed going to be to really make this a solid program?
Well, certainly you can work with the bandwidths that we have. I just was on a call earlier today, though, Chad, and that is one of the focuses of the 6-county area. Our intent is to get the last mile in. In many cases across the state, we have fiber to the telco stations. We don't have fiber to the door. Kane County has fiber to the door. There's a few other places, and so that's a focus. But you can certainly do this type of work in a reasonable way across much of rural Utah. And so though it's important and though we would like to see it get better, it's very workable at this point in time. I just want to follow on one thing about Paul's statistics. That 100 placements, you look at a place like Piute County, if you could create 4 jobs in Piute County, you would make a massive difference to the economy. And that's happened. I dare say that out of all of the programs that we've done in economic development in the state of Utah, this is the one program where we're actually getting tangible results that we can document.
So, somebody's watching this and they're out in Hinckley, a small community west of Delta. or even in Delta proper, and they're looking at that and they go, yeah, sure, that's great for them, but how am I going to make that work here? How do you overcome that hurdle of that mentality of people?
Yeah, I think it starts with just an interest. If you're interested and you have internet connection and a computer, start the course. Learn where remote work can work for you and where that fits. We've placed people in jobs. Just the other day, we placed someone in a job with the federal government as a legal assistant. You know, we've placed people with Entrata. They're a Silicon Slopes company. Another Tefra Solar as a, you know, one student as a project manager, a stay-at-home mom. And so a lot of times people have skill sets where they bring a trade to the table. Sometimes they have a high school diploma or they have a bachelor's degree, even master's degrees. The people that, you know, have some skills with computer science, they get snatched up really fast. But a lot of times just taking the course really opens your eyes to what the possibilities are. And then from there, while we haven't placed every single person that's come through our course, is because there's a knowledge gap. There's some additional skill sets that they need to develop. And so many have gone on and used Pluralsight or LinkedIn Learning to further develop their skills. Say they wanted to get a job in 3D modeling. It doesn't require them to you know, live in Salt Lake. They can do that from Paiute County. And so it's been amazing to see, you know, people who have a skill set, you know, a bachelor's degree, but they're really gifted in Microsoft Office, start teaching for BYU Idaho, and they're teaching students from around the world. So, and other students who are certified teachers who teach, you know, children in Asia how to speak English. So there's so many opportunities. So I would say don't discount yourself and be open to the possibilities, and then we can help fill in the gaps.
When this first started, you know, one of the things that happened was I was actually hiring freelancers to make phone calls and find out the name of a parts manager at an ATV dealership. And so I hired a freelancer to do that. Well, pretty much anybody can do that, right? And so, you know, don't forget that there's all levels of skill sets that are available and those opportunities there. That was kind of the original thing that I was hiring freelancers to do that kind of kicked this idea off for me. So I think there's a broad range of skill sets that are marketable.
Okay. I do want to talk about that income potential range and a few of the adjustments we have to do in the math for rural Utah. We're going to do that right after we take a break here on the County Seat. Welcome back to the County Seat. We're continuing our conversation about the opportunities on the Rural Online Initiative and the growth of this program. I would like to pick up the conversation and basically, you know, kind of respond to some first reactions I've had from people who basically feel like, gosh, that's great, but aren't online jobs sub-payers? Can you make as much money doing online from home work as you can in an office building?
I can respond to that. Absolutely. There are so many people who've actually quit their jobs on location to start freelancing. Harvard study recently revealed that they're making over 100% more than they were making, you know, at their regular day job. And so many people start to freelance to be able to take their skill sets to the open market. And in doing so, they're able to make a lot more than they would from their employer. And then they can a lot of times start just as a side hustle, as a way to make extra income or to pay off debt. But they've definitely been able to see this growing trend, and it actually become a major source of income. And so this is a huge opportunity that people can take advantage of, just with the skill sets that they already have, as well as, you know, developing their skill sets. We're going to be offering an entrepreneurship course coming up this summer, and that's going to help our participants learn even more about selling products online.
Darren, you've actually got some experience in doing virtual storefronts and turning them into a fairly profitable venture. Are you a testament to the fact that you can work online and make that the base of your business?
Absolutely. You know, we do between $4 and $5 million a year. Walmart, eBay, Amazon.com, Rakuten, and expanding into new markets as we speak. It's totally doable. The thing about it is Main Street America has got to embrace online sales, because the reality of it is the likes of Amazon and eBay and all those, they're literally stealing food off of Main Street America's table. And so, it's one of those deals, if you can't beat them, join them. And one of the things that we've proven is that by the volume that we're able to move online, we're actually able to have much stronger buying power as an organization. And the net profitability of the overall business goes up because we're able to buy at a much deeper discount because of the volumes. That's not to say that online margins are as good as they are in a brick and mortar. You definitely pay the fees, but at the end of the day, it's well worth any effort anyone would spend. And I think we've shown that if the day comes where you have to close the brick and mortar because of COVID-19, guess what? My sales continued, right? I didn't close.
Well, I think that's a very good point. But you see it as a parallel thing then, right?
Oh yeah. It's complementary to Main Street America.
So how do we, and Paul, this is a question I want to direct back to you, is if somebody wants to take on an entrepreneurial, challenge here and get involved in this, they're starting to get the wheels turning in their head, what helps them in the course in that area? Because I'm of the impression that the course for their master's certificate in remote work is really based upon how you present yourself, how your skills, probably a little bit about disciplining yourself to get work done, that sort of thing. But as far as some of these more entrepreneurial and horizontal type visions, is that part of your curriculum?
Yes. So the students, as they go through the entrepreneurship course, they're going to be able to learn how to come up with a concept, to take the concept to validation and to see if this is something that people actually want. And then from there, figuring out what the best mode of e-commerce is. Maybe it's setting up their own online shop. Maybe it's they're really good at handcrafting and they have a skill set that lends itself to selling on Etsy or eBay, or setting up an Amazon shop and Walmart and selling through Walmart like Darren's done with his business. So there's so many opportunities where you can literally get started right away, and we want to be able to make people more aware of what these are. So many times people walk into their small business development center and they have an idea, and that's kind of that's where they get stuck is they don't know exactly the best way to sell it. And that's one thing that we work closely with the Small Business Development Center to help them with establish their business, but also to help them with the marketing side of it. It's not just, going and selling at conventions or setting up your own brick and mortar. There are so many options right now that you can validate and A/B test through websites versus just, selling at a friend's shop or setting up your own shop.
So I guess the question, it seems to me that the logistics of where you choose to live rurally are going to be a difference. Say it's equal. You've got fiber network speeds, and you live in Richfield. You've got fiber network speeds, and you live in Boulder. Logistics play a part in how successful your entrepreneurial practice is going to be. Do you have to kind of pick and choose your business based on where you live?
I would say any place UPS will deliver and pick up, you're in good shape. And it's really interesting. If you want to have a good conversation, just ask your post lady or postmistress where she's picking up packages for people selling online, and she'll give you a litany of places where she's picking up 30 packages here and 300 from here, and the product lines will amaze you. It's everything from jewelry to party supplies. It's crazy. I just had this exact conversation with our post lady the other day, and I was shocked at how much e-commerce is happening out of people's garages.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with some final thoughts and questions. We'll be right back on the County Seat. Welcome back to the County Seat. We're having a conversation today about the Rural Online Initiative. We covered a lot of ground as far as Can people make a good living? Some of them are making more than 100% they would have the same job in brick and mortar. And we focused a lot on people learning how to become employees or freelancers. But there's another side of the equation. You can have all the freelance and available people to work remotely from rural Utah, but if a company's not dialed into it and they're not hiring, how do you get jobs?
So one thing we did at USU was we conducted a needs assessment to find out why a lot of the placements, the job placements that we were from our students were not in Utah. So they're with organizations outside of Utah. And what we found was that majority of Utah managers and leaders were not really aware of how to manage remote employees, how to lead a team at a distance. And so we developed a leadership course, the Master Remote Work Leader certificate course in the program that we're focused on influencing the supply of remote jobs. And so we're teaching leaders how to lead at a distance, how to manage teams and employees from anywhere in the state. And so this was all before the coronavirus. And so now we've seen huge increases in interest in this because they've been forced to adopt. But we're definitely seeing from the recent Gartner study that employees are more productive, that leading is different, but there are so many advantages to allowing your employees to work from home or from a co-working space, not just for continuity of business during inclement weather or during a pandemic, but also for improved quality of life.
I think that program's critical, Chad, to embracing remote work, and what they've done there is fantastic.
How do people sign up?
Yeah, go to remoteworkcertificate.com/pro for the professional course, or remoteworkcertificate.com/leader for our leadership course, and sign up today.
Excellent. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Remember, local government, local business, your local life is where your life happens. So be engaged, be part of the solution, and be on the front lines, and we'll see you next week on The County Seat. Thank you for watching The County Seat. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications to keep up to date on the program and happenings around Utah.